You open their message thread. Again, the same words sit there, unchanged. No reply, no sign. Yet your finger hovers, scrolling back, searching for something that isn't there. Rejection doesn't announce itself. It's quiet. A void you keep feeding with glances, with waiting, with hope. That's not hope, but habit. Why do you return to a place that's already empty? Is it them you're seeking, or proof that you still matter? Each look, each pause, binds you tighter to a loop you can't name. That loop, it doesn't just hold you. It erodes, not loudly, not with tears, but with a slow drip of invisible weight. Every time you check, you add another layer to the question you won't ask. Am I enough? The answer isn't in their silence, but in your reaction. That's the trap. That's what keeps you tethered to a moment that's already gone. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Their absence isn't the pain. It's the story you tell yourself about it. The one you repeat every time you look back. What are you holding that they already let go? Are you waiting for them or for yourself to stop? The truth isn't in their words or lack of them. It's in the reflex you choose right now. Their silence isn't a verdict. It's just silence. What you do with it, that's where the shift begins. You think their silence means something, don't you? It's a message, a judgment, a truth about you. So you wait, you check, you replay their last words in your head, as if decoding them will unlock your worth. Each glance at the screen, each moment spent wondering, feels like control. You're solving it. You're understanding. You're holding on. But here's the break. Their silence isn't about you. It's just absence. The meaning, the weight, the story, you built that. Every time you chase it, you're not finding answers. You're forging chains. Rejection doesn't speak, you do. And that's the trap. You're not waiting for them. You're waiting for yourself to stop. Pause. Their silence is empty. Your reaction, that's what fills it. You don't have to react. Lesson 1. Checking to be seen. You open the app. Their name sits there, unchanged. No new message, no sign they've even looked. Yet you scroll, up and down, as if the screen holds something you missed. A word, a hint, a reason. Rejection doesn't shout. It's this quiet pull, this reflex to check, to confirm you're not invisible. You tell yourself it's just a glance, just a moment, but each tap is a tether. You're not seeking them. You're seeking proof you still exist in their world. But what does it cost? This need to be seen. Every check, every refresh. It's not just time. It's a piece of your awareness, slipping into a loop you didn't choose. You don't notice it at first. The way your mind clings, the way your breath tightens, the way you're no longer here, but there, in a space that's already empty. The screen doesn't answer. It never does. It just mirrors back your own chase. Epictetus said, "You become what you give your attention to." Each time you look, you're not finding them. You're building a cage, one glance at a time. Their silence isn't the trap. Your reaction is. You don't need their reply to know who you are, but you act like you do. That's the flaw. That's what keeps you tethered to a void that doesn't speak. Stop. Not forever. Just now. Turn the phone over. Let the screen go dark. Not checking isn't surrender. It's a choice. A small one, but heavy. It's you, refusing to let their absence steer. You don't need to see their name to know your own. You don't need their response to be whole. One breath, one pause, one moment, where you don't look back. That's where it starts. The urge will return. It always does. You'll feel the pull, the itch to confirm. But each time you resist, you reclaim a piece of what their silence took. Not by fighting, not by explaining, but by staying still. Their world doesn't hold your worth. This moment does. Hold it, don't let it slip. The void is where it clears. The pause you just took, it's not nothing. It's a crack in the reflex, a moment where you didn't slide. But the pull doesn't vanish, it waits. Another reflex lies deeper, one that whispers, you can fix this if you just say the right thing. Lesson 2. Explaining to be understood. You draft the message, delete it, rewrite it. The words have to be perfect, sharp enough to cut through their silence, clear enough to make them see. You're not begging, you're just clarifying, setting things right. Rejection feels like a misunderstanding, one you can fix if you could just find the right phrase. So, you type, you pause, you imagine their response. You're not chasing, you're building a bridge, or so you tell yourself. But every word you craft, every moment spent shaping it, pulls you deeper into shame. Not the loud kind, not the kind you name. It's quieter, a slow burn behind your chest, a whisper that says you're not enough, not yet, not until they understand. You don't see it, but each unsent message, each rewritten line, is a weight you add. You're not fixing their silence, you're breaking your own stillness. Their silence is a locked door. Explaining is knocking endlessly, expecting it to open. It won't. The door isn't yours. The lock isn't yours. Their choice isn't yours. You can't make them see, no matter how precise your words. The reflex to explain, it's not about them. It's about you, trying to prove you're worth hearing. That's the trap. That's what keeps you tethered to a response that doesn't exist. Let the message sit, unwritten, unsent, saying, less isn't weakness, it's power. Not the kind that wins arguments, but the kind that holds you steady. You don't need their nod, their reply, their understanding. You need your own. One breath, one choice, one moment where you don't try to fix what they broke. That's where the shift happens. Their silence doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means they're gone. Stop knocking. The door was never for you. Detachment is a form of respect. Rejection is a guest. Don't invite it to stay. It lingers only as long as you hold the door open, with words you don't need to say. But another reflex waits, one that replays their silence over and over until it becomes your truth. Lesson 3. Replaying their silence. Your mind loops their last words, or lack of them. You hear the pause in their voice, see the blank screen, feel the weight of nothing. It plays again, unbidden, while you're driving, eating, staring at the ceiling at night. Rejection isn't just their absence, it's this echo, this overthinking that fills the quiet. You're not choosing it, it chooses you. You tell yourself you're just processing, just understanding, but you're not moving forward. You're stuck, replaying a moment that's already gone. Each loop, it doesn't clarify, it clouds. Numbness creeps in, not the kind that soothes, but the kind that dulls everything else. You don't notice at first how the world fades, how your breath shortens, how you're no longer here. But there, in a scene that doesn't exist, their silence isn't speaking. You are. You're writing the script, assigning meaning, turning absence into truth. That's the flaw. That's what keeps you tethered to a story you don't control. Their silence isn't your truth. It's just silence. You don't need to dissect it, to solve it, to make it mean something. Breathing through is enough. One inhale, one exhale. One moment where you don't let the echo steer. You can't stop the thoughts. Not yet. But you can stop feeding them. Let them pass. Like clouds. Like noise. Like nothing. That's where you begin. Not by understanding, but by refusing to chase what isn't there. The urge to replay, it's strong. It feels like insight, like progress. But it's a trap. A cycle that builds nothing except more pain. You don't need their silence to define you. You need your own presence to ground you. One breath, one pause, one choice to stay here, not there. That's the shift. That's where the echo starts to fade. You don't have to react. The mind clings, not just to their silence, but to the hope it might break. Another reflex waits, one that whispers, if you wait long enough, they'll return. Lesson 4. Waiting for closure. You hold your breath, waiting for their reply. A message, a call, a reason. Something to tie the loose ends, to make sense of their silence. You tell yourself you're patient, you're giving them time, you're not desperate. But hope blindly isn't patience. It's a chain. Rejection doesn't owe you closure, yet you wait, as if their words could free you. You check the clock, the app, the silence, believing the next moment might change everything. That wait, it doesn't build strength. It breeds regret, the kind that settles in your bones, a quiet ache that grows each time you pause your life for someone who's already left. You don't see it, how the days blur, how your focus drifts, how you're not living, but lingering. Their silence isn't a puzzle to solve. It's a fact. Waiting, that's your choice, and it's the one keeping you trapped. You think closure comes from them, don't you? You think their explanation, their apology, their return will release you. But here's the trap. Closure isn't theirs to give. It's yours to take. Let go isn't chasing answers. It's choosing to stop asking. You don't need their reasons to move. You need your own. One step, one breath, one moment where you don't wait for what's gone. That's where the chain breaks. Their absence, it's not a question. It's an answer. You can't make them speak, but you can stop listening to the silence. Let go isn't weakness. Weak self. What if they reply tomorrow? Stoic self. Tomorrow doesn't need their words. You do. The hope for closure fades, but another reflex rises, one that pushes you to react, to prove you're still here. Lesson 5. Reacting to prove. Their silence stings, so you move, you post, you call, you act. Not loudly, not always obviously, but enough to show you're still here. You're not begging. You're just reminding them, or yourself, that rejection hasn't erased you. The reflex feels natural, urgent, like a pulse. You react because doing something, anything, feels better than nothing. But every action, every subtle proof, it's not for them. It's for the void, the one you think their absence left. That urge to react, it doesn't fill the void. It deepens anxiety, the kind that hums beneath your skin. Not loud, but constant. You don't notice it at first. How your heart races, how your thoughts scatter, how you're no longer steady, but swaying. Each reaction, it's a thread you hand over, letting their silence pull you further from your center. You're not proving your worth, you're proving their power. over you. Picture two paths. One where you react, you post, you reach out, you chase the echo of their indifference. The other, you witness. You see their silence. You feel the sting, but you don't move. The reactive self begs. It pleads. It scrambles to be seen. The stoic self stands, observes, holds the line. One path traps you. The other frees you. Their silence isn't a challenge. It's just silence. Reacting, that's your choice. And it's the one that binds you. Don't move. Not yet. Witness the urge. Let it rise. Let it pass. You don't need to post, to speak, to prove. Your worth isn't in their eyes. It's in your stillness. One breath, one pause, one moment where you don't let their absence steer. That's the shift. That's where you reclaim what's yours. Not doing is power too. The urge to react fades, but another pulls stronger. The need to hold on to their words, their memory, as if letting go means losing yourself. Lesson 6. Clinging to their words. You keep their messages, old texts, a photo, a note. They sit in your phone, your drawer, your mind. You don't look often, but you can't delete them. They're proof of what was, of what might still be. Rejection didn't take them away. You're holding them close, as if their words still hold you. You tell yourself it's just memory, just a trace. But each time you keep them, you cling, not to them, but to the pain they left behind. That grip, it doesn't preserve. It fuels grief, the kind that lingers, not in tears, but in the weight you carry through your days. You don't see it. How the past pulls, how it clouds your breath, how it keeps you tethered to a moment that's no longer yours. Each time you scroll back, each time you pause on their words, you're not remembering. You're rebuilding the wound. What you hold, holds you. That's the loop. That's what keeps you stuck. Break it, not with anger, not with force, but with a single choice. Not texting, deleting the thread, letting the words fade. It's not erasing them, it's freeing you. You don't need their messages to know what happened. You don't need their trace to know who you are. One tap, one breath, one moment where you let go of what's gone. That's where the weight lifts, not by keeping, but by releasing. The urge to hold on, it's strong. It feels like loyalty, like truth, but it's a lie, a reflex that binds you to what no longer serves. They're words, they're just words, not your anchor. Your presence is enough. Your choice to move, to unhook, to be here. That's the shift. That's where the loop ends. You can end without drama. 80% of people revisit old messages daily. It changes nothing. The weight of their words lifts, but another reflex stirs. One that hides the sting, pretending it doesn't exist. Lesson 7. Hiding the sting. You smile, you work, you nod. Their silence sits heavy, but you push it down. You're fine. You tell yourself you're over it. Rejection doesn't show. Not on your face, not in your voice. You avoid the ache. Bury it under tasks, under routine, under the mask of, I'm okay. It's not denial. It's control. Or so you think. But each time you sidestep the pain, you don't escape it. You carry it. That burial, it doesn't heal. It grows. Isolation. Not the kind you choose, but the kind that creeps. a quiet drift from yourself. You don't notice how your thoughts tighten, how your breath shallows, how you're no longer whole, but fragmented. Each time you hide, you split, you lose a piece of what could ground you. Pain ignored grows louder. It doesn't vanish, it waits beneath the surface, ready to pull when you're alone. Sitting with it, that's the shift. Not fighting, not fixing, just seeing. You feel the sting. Let it be. It rises. Let it pass. It's not your enemy. It's just there. No need to smile, no need to hide. One breath, one moment, one choice to face what's true. The reflex to avoid, it's automatic. It feels safe, but it's a cage, locking you out, not the pain in. You don't need to outrun their silence. You need to stand in your own presence. Their rejection, it's not your truth. Your choice, to see, to stay, that's what holds you. Stillness is enough. The mask of fine cracks, but another reflex builds, one that buries the truth, hoping it'll vanish. Lesson 8. Burying the truth. You push it down. The sting. The weight. Their silence sits there. But you don't look. You tell yourself it's over. It doesn't matter. You're stronger than this. Suppressing isn't feeling. It's control. Or so you think. You fill your hours. Work. Noise. Anything to keep the truth at bay. Rejection doesn't surface. Not now. Not yet. But each time you bury it, you don't erase it. You entomb it. Alive. That burial, it doesn't free you. It breaks awareness. The kind that keeps you whole. The kind that grounds you here. You don't see it. How your mind fogs. How your chest tightens. How you're no longer present, but adrift. Each suppressed truth, it's a fracture. A crack in the system. You need to stay steady. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "No need to hide what's true. Yet you do. And each time, you lose a piece of what could hold you." Ubzev, don't bury. See the sting? Name it. It's there. Let it be. It doesn't rule you unless you hide it. One breath, one choice, one moment to face what is. The reflex to suppress, it feels like strength, like mastery. But it's a lie, a system failure that dims your clarity. Their silence, it's not your burden. Your choice to see, to stay open, that's your power. You don't need to bury the truth. You need to stand in it. Pain doesn't mean truth. A man kept silent for years. His silence became his cage. The truth you bury waits, but another reflex stirs, one that pleads, hoping to be seen. Lesson 9. Pleading to be seen. You reach out, not with words, but with actions. You stay kind. You stay present. You stay available. Not loudly, but quietly, hoping they'll notice. Rejection feels like a shadow, one you can lift. If you just show enough. You please, not to win them back, but to prove you're worth keeping. You tell yourself it's strength, it's patience, but it's a reflex, a pull to fill the silence with your effort. That effort, it doesn't build you, it erodes self-command. The kind that holds you steady, the kind that doesn't bend. You don't notice how your choices shift, how your time drifts, how you're no longer yours, but theirs. Each gesture, each moment you give, it's a thread you hand over, letting their silence steer. You're not earning their gaze, you're losing your own. That's the flaw. That's what keeps you tethered to a worth you already have. You owe no one your peace. not their silence, not their absence. Refrain. Stop offering what they don't see. Set the boundary, not with walls, but with silence. Your worth, it's not in their eyes. One breath, one choice, one moment to hold your ground. The urge to please, it's deep. It feels right, like proof of your value. But it's a trap, a cycle that dims your center. Their silence, it's not a call to prove yourself. It's a call to stand, to stay, to be enough. You don't owe anything. The need to please fades, but another reflex rises, one that denies the loss, pretending it never was. Lesson 10. Denying the loss. You tell yourself it didn't matter. Their silence, their absence. It was nothing. A moment, not a wound. You shrug it off. Keep moving. Keep busy. Denying feels like control, like strength, like you're above it all. Rejection doesn't touch you, or so you claim. But each time you dismiss it, you don't erase it. You bury it deeper, where it festers, unseen. That denial, it doesn't protect. It breeds emptines, the kind that hollows you out, not with noise, but with quiet. You don't feel it at first, how your days blur, how your thoughts drift, how you're no longer grounded, but floating. Each time you say it's fine, you widen the gap between you and what's true. Loss is a cut. Denying it lets it bleed, slowly, silently, until you're less than you were. Release, not with force, but with truth. See the loss, name it. It's there. It happened. It's yours to face. Loss is a weight you carry. Release is letting it fall. One breath, one choice, one moment to stop pretending. The reflex to deny, it's quick. It feels safe, like armor, but it's a lie. A wound you hide, that grows. Their silence, it's not nothing. It's real, and so are you. You don't need to dismiss it. You need to stand in it. Silence isn't surrender. Seneca wrote, "We suffer most when we resist." The loss you face clears, but another reflex pulls, one that clings to hope, refusing to let go. Lesson 11. Holding on to hope. You tell yourself, maybe tomorrow, maybe they'll reach out, maybe they'll see, maybe it's not over. You don't say it loud, but it hums in your thoughts, in your pauses, in your glances at the phone. Hold on, it's not desperation, it's possibility. Or so you think. Rejection feels like a door half closed, one you can't shut, because what if? You keep it open, just a crack, just in case. That hope, it doesn't lift you. It fuels fear, the kind that whispers, what if you let go and lose them forever? You don't notice how it binds you, how it pulls your breath, how it keeps you tethered to a future that's not yours. Each time you hope, you don't move forward, you wait, suspended in a story that's already ended. What's gone doesn't define you, but holding it does. That's the loop. That's what keeps you stuck. Disengage, not with anger, but with clarity. Let the thought rise. Let it pass. Hope isn't truth. It's noise. You don't need their return. You need your own. One breath, one choice, one moment to unhook. The reflex to hold on. It's quiet. It feels like care, like loyalty. But it's a trap, a weight you choose when you don't have to. There's silence. It's not a promise. It's just silence. You don't need to wait. You need to be here, now, whole. Detachment is a form of respect. The hope you release clears, but another reflex stirs, One that answers their silence, as if it's a question. Lesson 12. Answering their silence. Their silence feels like a question. So you answer, not with words, but with thoughts, with waiting, with wondering. You think it means something, a judgment, a flaw in you. So you analyze, you justify, you react. Rejection isn't just their absence, it's this reflex, this need to respond, to fill the void with meaning. You tell yourself you're solving it, you're understanding, but you're not. You're chasing a shadow that doesn't exist. That chase, it doesn't clarify. It deepens shame, the kind that whispers, "You're not enough. You're the reason they left." You don't see it, how it twists your thoughts, how it pulls your breath, how it keeps you tethered to a question that's not yours. Each time you answer their silence, you don't find peace. You lose it. Their indifference. It's not a puzzle. It's just absence. Reacting, that's your choice. And it's the one that binds you. You think their silence judges, don't you? You think it's about you, your worth, your value. But here's the trap. You're the one judging yourself. Their silence, it's empty. Your reaction, that's what gives it weight. Step back. Don't answer. See the urge. Let it pass. Their silence, it's not yours to solve. One breath, one choice, one moment to stay still. The reflex to react, it's fast. It feels necessary, like truth. But it's a lie, a loop that keeps you tethered to nothing. You don't need to answer their silence. You need to stand in your own presence. Their indifference, it's not your burden. You don't have to react. Rejection is a wave. Don't swim against it. The urge to answer fades, but another reflex pulls, one that seeks their gaze, to prove you're still enough. Lesson 13. Chasing their gaze. You move, not for you, but for them. You post, you work, you shine, not loudly, but enough to catch their eye, to show you're still here. Rejection feels like a mirror, one you can't face, unless they see you. You chase, not their love, but their nod, their glance, their proof that you're not invisible. You tell yourself it's for you, it's growth, but it's not. It's a reflex, a pull to fill their silence with your light. That chase, it doesn't free you. It traps you in a cycle of invisible pain, the kind that hums, not with noise, but with absence. You don't notice how your breath catches, how your choices bend, how you're no longer yours, but theirs. Each step you take for their gaze, it's a thread you tie, letting their silence steer. You're not proving your worth. You're proving their hold over you. Picture two selves. One chases. It runs. It seeks their eyes. It bends to be seen. The other, it's centered. It stands. It sees itself. It holds its ground. The chasing self begs. It pleads. It lives for their glance. The stoic self breathes. It knows. It's enough. One path binds you. The other grounds you. Their silence, it's not a call to shine. It's a call to stop, to be here, to be whole. Stay still. Don't chase. See the urge. Let it pass. Their gaze, it's not your mirror. Your worth, it's here, now. One breath, one choice, one moment to stop running. The reflex to chase, it's deep. It feels like survival, like truth. But it's a lie, a loop that keeps you tethered to nothing. You don't need their eyes. You need your own. The void is where it clears. The chase for their gaze slows, but the silence remains. It's not a question, it's a space, one you can choose to fill or leave empty. The silence you face now, it's not theirs anymore. It's yours. Not a void to fill, not a wound to hide, but a space. You didn't check, you didn't explain, you didn't chase. That pause, it's not nothing. It's a shift, a crack in the reflex, a moment where you held the line. But the pull doesn't vanish. It waits, quieter, but still there. Rejection doesn't end with their absence. It lingers in the habits you built around it. You've seen the loops, the checking, the waiting, the proving. Each one, a thread, tying you to a moment that's gone. The work now, it's not to forget, not to overcome, but to unhook. One choice at a time, one breath at a time, one stillness at a time. Their silence, it's not your truth. Your presence, that's what grounds you. The lessons carved here, they're not answers. They're mirrors, reflecting back the reflexes you can break, the weights you can drop. You don't need their gaze, their words, their return. You need this, the quiet, the pause, the space where you choose. Detachment isn't loss, it's freedom. But freedom isn't loud. It's not a victory shout, it's a whisper. It's the moment you stop running, stop answering, stop holding on. It's the moment you see, not them, but you. Their silence. It's just silence. What you do with it, that's where it shifts. You don't have to react. A woman waited for a reply. Her waiting became her cage. The space you hold now, it's fragile, but real. Another reflex lies beneath, one that pulls you back to the hope of being seen. The hope of being seen, it's a quiet pull, not loud, but constant. You didn't react, you didn't chase, you held the space. But the reflex lingers, a whisper that says, maybe if you're enough, they'll turn back. Rejection doesn't just leave silence, it leaves questions, ones you answer without thinking. You move through your day, but the shadow trails, not of them, but of the need to prove, to fill, to be whole in their eyes. That need, it's not truth, it's a habit, a loop you built, one glance, one thought, one pause at a time. You don't notice how it shifts your breath, how it pulls you from the present, how it keeps you tethered to a gaze that's not yours. The work isn't to erase it, it's to see it, to name it, to let it pass. Witness the pull, don't follow it. Their silence, it's not a mirror. Your presence, that's what reflects you. Each lesson here, it's a cut, a cold slice into the reflexes that bind you. Checking, explaining, waiting, proving they're not your truth. They're patterns, ones you can break, not with force, but with choice. You don't need their reply, their nod, their return. You need this, the stillness, the moment where you don't move, where you don't need to. The space you hold, it's not empty. It's heavy, with the weight of what you've chosen not to do. Not texting, not chasing, not pleading. Each is a step, not away from them, but toward you. Their silence, it's not your burden, your choice. To pause, to stay, that's your power. Silence isn't surrender. The reflexes you've faced, they don't vanish, they fade. But another stirs, one that whispers, you can't let go. Not yet, not fully. The whisper to hold on, it's soft, but heavy. You didn't chase, you didn't answer, you stayed still. But the reflex pulls a quiet urge to keep their absence close, as if letting go means losing you. Rejection isn't just their silence, it's the weight you choose to carry, the moments you give to what's gone. You tell yourself it's memory, it's meaning, but it's not. It's a tether, one you tie, one thought at a time. That tether, it doesn't ground you. It pulls you into a space where you're not here, not now. You don't notice how your breath catches, how your mind drifts, how you're no longer whole, but split. Each time you hold their silence, you don't keep them. You lose you. Let go, not with force, but with truth. It's not about forgetting. It's about choosing to be here, to be yours. These lessons, they're not cures, they're mirrors. Each one reflects a reflex, a choice, a loop you can break. You didn't check, you didn't explain, you didn't wait. That's not nothing. That's power. Not the kind that shouts, but the kind that holds. Their silence, it's not your truth. Your stillness, your presence, that's what anchors you. The urge to hold, it'll return. It always does. But each time you choose not to, you unhook, you reclaim. One breath, one pause, one moment where you don't let their absence steer. That's the shift. That's where you stand. Not in their shadow, but in your own light. You can end without drama. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. The weight you drop clears, but another reflex waits. One that reacts to prove you're still enough." The urge to prove, it rises fast. A spark in the quiet. You didn't chase. You didn't hold. You stood still. But their silence, it feels like a test. One you can pass if you just show enough. Rejection doesn't speak, but you hear it. A whisper that says, "You're not enough. Not yet." So you move, you act, you shine. Not for you, but to answer their absence. You tell yourself it's strength, it's growth, but it's a reflex. A pull to fill the void with your effort. That effort, it doesn't free you. It binds you to a cycle of invisible weight. The kind that settles, not with noise, but with absence. You don't see it. How your choices bend. How your breath tightens. How you're no longer here, but there, in their gaze, or lack of it. Each move you make, it's a thread, tying you to a silence that doesn't care. You're not proving your worth. You're proving their power over you. These lessons, they cut deep, not to wound, but to clear. You didn't check. You didn't explain. You didn't wait. Each pause, each choice, it's a step, not away from them, but toward you. Their silence, it's not a challenge. It's just silence. Your presence, your stillness, that's the answer. You don't need their eyes. You need your own. To see what's true. To stand where you are. Stay still. Don't move. See the urge. Let it pass. Their silence. It's not your mirror. One breath. One choice. One moment to be enough. You don't need to prove. You need to be. The void is where it clears. The need to prove fades, but the silence remains. It's not a question. It's a space. One you can hold or let pull you back. The space you hold, it's not empty. It's heavy. You didn't react. You didn't prove. You didn't fill the silence. Rejection's weight, it's not gone, but it's lighter because you chose not to carry it. The reflexes, the checking, the waiting, the chasing, they're not erased. They wait in the quiet, ready to pull when you falter. But you've seen them. You've named them. You've cut their threads one by one with every pause, every breath, every choice to stay still. That choice, it's not a triumph. It's a truth. You don't need their words, their gaze, their return, their silence. It's not your mirror. It's not your truth. It's just silence. The pain, the loss, you gave it life. Each time you moved, each time you hoped, each time you bent. These lessons, they don't fix. They reveal the loops you built, the loops you can break. Silence isn't surrender, it's power. The kind that doesn't shout, the kind that holds. You didn't check, you didn't explain, you didn't chase. Each moment, you chose not to. You reclaimed, not them, but you. Your presence, your stillness, that's what anchors. Not their nod, not their absence, but this. The moment you stand, whole, here, now. One breath, one pause, one choice to be enough. Their silence, it's not your cage. Your awareness, that's your ground. You don't need to fill the void. You need to live in it. Detachment is a form of respect. The space you've carved, it's not a victory. It's a beginning. The silence holds, but it's yours to shape, not theirs to define. The phone lies face down, its screen dark. No hum, no light, no pull. The room is still, only your breath moves. Slow, steady, present. You didn't check, you didn't chase, you didn't fill the silence. That pause, it's not empty, it's heavy, with the weight of what you chose to hold and what you let go. Their absence, it didn't speak today. You did, not with words, not with proof, but with presence. A moment where you didn't bend, didn't react, didn't let their silence steer. That's not nothing. It's a shift, a space where you stood, whole, without their gaze. What pulls harder? Their silence, or the reflex to answer it? You don't need to know. Not now. Not yet. Just see it. Let it be. Let it pass. Stillness is a choice that holds.